welcome to Global Morning.
The death toll from flooding.
Most time our politicians just bring in policies too, for sure.
Incidentally, we have several more stories.
The legislature was carefully crafted to
22.2% inflation rate as of April this year. What does that say about where we are as a country?
I think Nigeria has resorted to being resilient.
Before you call the police station, before they even leave, they'll take permission from.
I don't think there's really anything on ground to improve.
We struggle, we have to strike.
You have done your work, you have put us to the wall. We are not your slaves.
I'm not a small boy. You should have given me the report.
I have not seen the report.
Hello and welcome to Global Morning. I'm Wiyagu Mofegbe. I'm live in Abuja, Nigeria's capital. This is Global Television, and it's a wonderful opportunity this morning, being Tuesday, 26th day in the month of March. Again, third month of the year, wrapping up in a matter of days. So by Monday is April. I don't know what you're going to do, being April 1st, of course. Again, that's the beginning of the fourth month. So for those of us who have resolved about certain things, whether they are personal or whatever they may be, as to the kind of changes you want to see in certain areas of your life, this is a wonderful opportunity for you to say the first quarter of the year is wrapping up. Let's do a quick assessment and see how far we have come with our plan. I mean, that's how you keep track of progress and be able to identify areas where you need to make adjustments as quickly as possible. I'll be joined by my colleague, Queen Agaba, in the course of the show this morning. Together, we will have a great time with you here on Global Morning. But one of the big things we're doing on the show today is to turn our attention to the renewed hope agenda of President Bola Tinubu. Recall that in the build-up to the 2023 general election, himself and his campaign team, of course, alongside the All Progressives Congress, the APC, the party on whose platform he rolled to power, all right, had made a song out of that mantra, Renewed Hope Agenda. That was, as many people would come to say, a very radical deviation from what his predecessor, former President Muhammadu Buhari, had said when he came in 2015, and also sang about change. But that was going to change by 2019 when the former president was seeking a return ticket, as it were, to Aso Rock. That was a bid for a second term in office. This time, the former president and the APC didn't talk about change. Instead, they said they were doing two things. One, they were taking stock of how much they had accomplished by their own assessments at that time on accounts of the change mantra. But going forward, between 2019 and 2023, they said it would be what they called next level. However, fast forward to 2023, when President Bola Tinubu came into office, even in the course of the campaign that made him the president, he said, look, we are doing something different because we've looked at the issues, the national concerns, top to bottom, end to end, inside and out. Therefore, we are driving the Renewed Hope agenda. Little wonder you realize that there is that mantra tied to virtually everything that has to do with this administration. Ministries, departments, and MDAs have also keyed into it for a plethora of reasons. All right, but for the president, it is pivotal because he says Nigerians not only need hope, they need their hope, they need to have their hope renewed. All right, so you have the Renewed Hope agenda of the president in the area of the economy, health, education, infrastructure, security, and so on and so forth. So on the program today, we're taking the bulk of our time to do a candid, dispassionate assessment of whether or not, virtually 10 months into his administration, the president has actually given Nigerians to think or maybe believe that their hope has been renewed. Or better still, does any aspect of what President Tinubu has done today on account of his office as a president served as a basis for Nigerians to expect that there is hope in sight? We're going to look at, do a sector-by-sector analysis of what the president has introduced by way of policy or some people would say, knee-jerk pronouncements, beginning with the issues around fuel subsidy removal, fiscal and monetary policies, and so on and so forth. Just yesterday, news came through, for example, that the president has now approved infrastructure fund. And you're wondering, what does that mean? Well, it's self-explanatory. However, we will make efforts to ensure that we unbundle that for you in the course of our conversation on the program this morning. As expected, we will also take a look at the papers to bring you big stories and just guide you with regards to what the direction of news is. In the meantime, remember that you can follow us across all of our social media platforms, engage with us, let's get interacting, and then move the conversation beyond our TV screen. All of the handles are now showing on your screen. We'll take a quick break, everyone. Let's join Fatima Umar and her team as we bring you Taste and Texture.
Welcome to another episode on Taste and Texture. I'm Fatimi Abba Umar. Today I'll be taking you on how to make the banga soup. Nigeria banga soup or Ofeako is a native to the Niger Delta and southern eastern parts of Nigeria. In the Niger areas, banga soup is commonly eaten with various fufu recipes: starch, pounded yam, semolina, gari, and cassava fufu. In the southern eastern parts of Nigeria, banga soup is referred to as Ofeako, where Ofe means soup, stew, and Aku means palm fruit, and is used mainly as stew for boiled white rice. The palm fruit oil extract used in making banga soup stew is quite different from the red palm oil used in cooking Nigerian food recipes. Palm oil is pure oil extract from the palm fruit pulp at high temperatures, while the palm fruit oil extract used for banga soup is extracted at very low temperature and is a mixture of oil and water. Palm fruit oil extract for banga soup contains less saturated fat than palm oils. Ingredients for banga soup: 1 kg palm fruit or 800 gram tinned palm fruit concentrate, beef, dry fish, vegetables, sand leaves for Ofeako or dried and crushed bitter leaves for Delta style banga soup, 2 medium onions, 2 teaspoons of ground crayfish, salt and chili pepper to taste, ogiri okpe, iru, 1-2 big star cubes. Before you cook Nigeria banga soup, extract the palm fruit concentrate from the palm fruit. If using the tinned palm fruit concentrate, open the tin and set aside. Cook the beef and the dry fish with 1 bulb diced onions and stock cubes till done. Wash and cut scent leaves into tiny pieces. The scent leaves give the banga soup Ofeako its unique aroma and taste. If you're outside Nigeria, this may be difficult for you to find. You can use pumpkin leaves or any other vegetable in place of scent leaves. If cooking Delta style banga soup for starch, you should either cook this stew without vegetables or use dry crushed bitter leaves. Cook the remaining bulb onion, pound the crayfish, ogiri, okpe, and pepper in a mortar and set aside. You can also grind them with a dry mill. Cooking instructions: set the pot of palm fruit extract on the stove and start cooking at high heat. Leave to boil till you notice red oil at the surface of the banga stew. If you think that the banga soup is watery, cook till the soup has thickened to its consistency you like your stew. Now add the beef, dry fish and stock, onions, crayfish, pepper, and leave to boil very well. Add the scent leaves or other vegetables and salt to taste. Leave to simmer for about 2 minutes. The banga soup is done. Serve with white rice or use Delta style banga soup to eat starch, gari, semolina, amala, or pounded yam. Cooking instructions for those using tinned palm fruit concentrate: when the beef and fish are well done, add the palm fruit concentrate and add water to get the consistency you like for your stews. Leave to boil very well. Add the onions, crayfish, pepper, ogiri, blend and let it boil very well. Add the scent leaves and other vegetables and salt to taste. Leave to simmer for about 2 minutes. The banga soup is done. If you use bitter leaves to prepare it, serve with Nigerian fufu meals, especially starch. If you use scent leaves to prepare it, serve with boiled white rice. That's all for now. See you same time next time for another interesting episode on Taste and Texture. I remain your host, Fatimi Abu Omar. Bye.
Well, thank you so very much, Fatima Umar and your team for putting that banga soup recipe together for us. It's been a long time for me, I mean, for a South boy, if you know what I mean. But then someday soon, we'll get back there and just get things happening again. Let's turn to some very crucial matters now. We were told a couple of years ago, particularly between 2015 and 2016, that Nigeria would require, give or take, $25 billion on an annual basis. That is between 2016 and 2040, a 25-year period. $25 billion to be able to close the infrastructure gap, which has suffered and continues as it stands today to suffer very critical deficits. But the question is, where would that money come from? Remember, former Minister of Works and Housing, himself a former state governor of Lagos, Raji Babatunde Fashola, had talked so much about how that infrastructure deficit in this country was so concerning that it was largely affecting our economy in ways that are so remarkably adverse. But between when Fashola became the minister then and today, we're not sure how much has been done. But we do know, for example, that the current Minister of Works, again himself a former governor of Ebonyi State, talking about David Umahi, has also doubled down on the efforts to ensure that we continue to close the infrastructure gap in a manner of speaking, one step or one block at a time. But again, how do we measure progress? Ultimately, we are told Nigeria will require, give or take, something in the neighborhood of $878 billion within this 25-year period to ultimately close this infrastructure gap. To that end, President Bola Tinubu just yesterday, in the course of the Federal Executive Council meeting, signed the Renewed Hope Infrastructure Development Fund, the idea of which is to bridge the country's $25 billion per annum infrastructure funding gap. All right, so a while ago, I mean, at the top of the program, I took out time to talk about the Renewed Hope agenda and some of the very important components that are in there. All right, so infrastructure is very big. As a matter of fact, it has become a shame that you would keep hearing that the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway has been awarded, has been re-awarded, has been awarded again, is being reassessed for another award, and so on and so forth. And you're wondering, when will it ever end, right from the days of former President Olusegun Obasanjo, who between then and now has written several letters, all right, to both former presidents, Goodluck Jonathan, and Muhammadu Buhari. As of today, we are waiting to see whether or not he would write letters to the current president, or maybe he's taking his time. But the point we're making is it's been a long time coming with infrastructure deficits in this country. And then, of course, the second Niger bridge, that in itself a very huge conversation, which has also been subjected to enormous controversy, took a long time to eventually finish. And then you hear those who say, well, the former president and his administration had to quickly wrap things up just to score what they called a cheap political point. But the question is, does that bridge, I mean the second Niger bridge today, serve the purpose for which it was originally intended? Well, I'm not in a very good place to answer that question. Those who live in that region, those who have a handle on projects like this and how much of social good it should provide for the people, understand far better. And then you have several other projects. Of course, you have the rail project from one end of the country to the other. How much are we doing in those regards? But let's be also clear. Nigeria has secured several tranches of loan to be able to bankroll all of these projects. In the case of rail, for example, we have gone into some very serious agreements, so if you like, some memorandum of understanding with the Chinese authorities just to be able to fund all of these projects. Recall how the Chinese loan and the contract around it also had become a problem between former Minister of Transportation, again himself a former governor of Rivers State, Rotimi Chibuike-Amechi, and some senators. In fact, some people had said, look, there's a clause in these agreements that sets Nigeria at a disadvantage. But then the former minister argued and said, look, the earlier we sign off on this contract, the better for the country. It's been a couple of years since that contract came into force. The question is, has it been a blessing or a curse? Of course, we understand that there's a business element, there's a commercial element when you talk about rail, when you talk about infrastructure. Because in the case of road, for example, you would talk about tolling, and so on and so forth, For real, people have to pay to get on the train and travel from one end of the country to the other. But have we been able to aggregate all of these potentialities in the overall interest of our economy and for the ultimate benefits of Nigerians? Again, this is business. Let's now join Kikaloma Okere as we give you a snapshot of what business has been like on Monday.
Hello and welcome to Business Reports on Global Morning. Nigeria spent a sum of 7.8 trillion naira to service its debt obligation in 2023, a 121% increase compared to 3.52 trillion naira incurred in the previous year. This is according to the analysis of data released by the Debt Management Office. The breakdown of the data shows that domestic debt service costs stood at 5.23 trillion naira, representing 104% increase from the previous year's 2.56 trillion naira, while external debt service surged by 167% and 2.57 trillion naira compared to 962.5 billion naira recorded in 2022. The significant jump in Nigerian debt service cost was partly due to the devaluation of the local currency, which drove the cost of servicing foreign debt obligation as the CBN grappled with the FX liquidity crisis and exchange rate volatility. The prevailing exchange rate for the quarterly period as provided by DMO was used to convert the external debt cost from dollar to naira. It is noteworthy that the debt servicing cost in the review year surpassed the 6.56 trillion naira that was earmarked for the year. According to the budget document obtained from the Budget Office, the federal government has budgeted 6.56 trillion naira for debt servicing, which is made up of 3.29 trillion naira, that is domestic, 1.81 trillion naira external, and 247.7 billion naira sinking fund, and 1.2 trillion naira as interest on Ways and Means debt to the CBN. In February 2024, the cost of refuel 5 kg cylinder of liquefied petroleum gas, that is cooking gas, rose to 6,154 naira 50 kobo, marking a 19.75% increase from January 2023 price of 5,139.25 naira. Comparing year on year, there was a 33.78% surge from the price of 4,600 naira in February 2023. In the state-by-state analysis, Lagos had the highest average cost for refilling a 5 kg cylinder of liquefied petroleum gas cooking at 6,820 naira, with Imo at 6,785 naira and Anambra 6,750 naira, trailing closely behind. However, the price of refilling 12.5 kg cooking gas saw a month-on-month increase of 28.33%, rising from 11,735 naira in January 2024 to 15,060 naira in February 2024, compared to the previous year that was 46.88% hike from 10,253 naira in February 2023. The Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria has stated that the oversubscription of recent FGN securities is having a positive effect on the naira exchange rate to dollar. The president of the group, Aminu Gwadabi, disclosed this in an interview where he applauded recent reform by the CBN geared towards taming inflation and strengthening the naira. The head of APCON remarked that clearing the backlog of legitimate foreign exchange transactions positively impacted the forex market, improving the naira's prospects and enticing foreign investors. The Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has directed applicants of Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme to submit their national identification number as part of the necessary requirement to obtain a grant earmarked to cushion the effect that the recent economic reform has had on businesses in the country. The government, through the Bank of Industry, has said it will be disbursing 3 categories of funding totaling 200 billion naira to support manufacturers and businesses across the country. He said the new rules is based on the new regulation from the Central Bank of Nigeria directing Nigerians to link their national identification number with their bank account. It added that only verified applicants will receive this notification, and NIN must match the applicant's name for the process to proceed. Kike Lomo Okeri, Global Television News.
Thank you so very much, Kikelomo Okeri. You know, the part of it that got my attention in that report was the reaction of the Association of Bureau de Change Operators of Nigeria, APCON. Of course, its president, Malam Aminu Gwadabe, has always spoken up about these developments. And now he says, look, the fact that the CBN has cleared verified forex obligations, or what they call legitimate FX obligations, has positively impacted the position of the naira. It has, excuse me, firmed up the naira against the dollar. Recall that in February, at some points, it was about up to 1,787 naira to the dollar. I mean, that was how bad it was. But by late Wednesday, just after the CBN had announced that it had cleared all verified FX backlog, the naira firmed up. And now we're hearing that those who have hoarded the dollar over time, banks, bureau de change operators, and individuals across this country are now under intense pressure. That pressure, by the way, we hear is not about to wane anytime soon, to offload the dollars that they have hoarded. Recall that a couple of months ago, the dollar was selling for far less than 800 naira, but all of a sudden it shot by more than 150% at some point, even at the so-called official market. But today we understand things are looking up, and we hope the naira continues to get strengthened up against the greenback, as it's often called. We'll keep track of that for you. Hopefully in the course of the week, we get APCON President Aminu Gwadabe on our program, Business Points, to shed light on these developments and provide some insights for us as to how we got here and what we are doing to get out of it as well. We're taking another break this time. We're bringing you sports updates put together by Anthony Momodu.
Hello sports fans, welcome to Sports News Update. 7-time champions Enugu Rangers have climbed to the top of the Nigerian Premier Football League table after securing a 2-1 win over struggling Heartland in Oriental Derby on March 27 in Aba. Defender Ifeanyi Onyebuchi scored Rangers' first goal in the first half, and Kalu Nweke doubled the advantage in the second half before the hosts halved the deficit to end the game 2-1. Led by Fidelis Ilechukwu, Rangers have been on the ascendancy in their last 10 games, losing only 1 and are unbeaten in 9 straight games. They have also won 3 of their last 4 away matches. Lobby Stars surrendered their place on top of the table, no thanks to a 1-1 draw against Bayelsa United in Lafia. Sunday Chinedu gave Lobby the lead in the 61st minute, but Kehinde Lawal restored parity for the visitors as they continue to swim out of relegation. In Jos, Plateau United title chase also suffered a setback as they were beaten 2-1 at home by relegation threatened Akwa United at the New Jos Stadium. The shake-up in the top four continued with a 2-1 defeat of champions Enyimba by Kwara United in Ilorin, where the People's Elephant assistant coach Yemi Olariwaju was sent off. The tense game ended 1-1 at halftime, with Ikena Cooper scoring an equalizer for Enyimba after Emmanuel Ugbole opened scoring for Kwara inside the opening 10 minutes, but Ugbole got his brace and Kwara match winner just 5 minutes after the restart. Andrew Idoko and Aziz Folulo, who scored his third goal of the season, were also on target for Katsina United as the Chenji boys came back from a goal down to beat Abia Warriors 2-1 at the Muhammadu Diko Stadium in Katsina. Enugu Rangers now hold 1 point lead at the top of the table with 48 points after 27 matches, and they are followed by Lobby Stars in second with 47 points, Heartland 23, Gombe United 24, Niger Tornadoes 30, and Bayelsa United 31 are in the bottom four, but Kwara United with 32 are just 1 point away from safety after their win on Sunday. Eye-catching closing ceremony brought to an end the African Games in Ghana on Saturday after an eventful 16 days in Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. The event ended with a parade of all participating countries' flags, while music from Nigerian hip-hop star Tiwa Savage was played from the sound system, much to the delight of the crowd. On the final day of the competition, perennial champions Egypt claimed 2 more gold to take their gold haul to 101 to once again claim the top spot at the Continental Sports Showpiece. Egypt emerged winners of the event with 189 medals, 101 gold, 46 silver, 42 bronze, while Nigeria finished in second position with 47 gold, 33 silver, and 40 bronze to claim a total of 120 medals. South Africa occupied the third spot with 106 medals, 32 gold, 32 silver, and 42 bronze, as Nigeria ranked the fourth best country at the event in Ghana with 114 medals, 29 gold, 38 silver, and 47 bronze. 4 Nigerian wrestlers have joined Odunayo Adekuroye to qualify for the Paris Olympic Games by winning gold medals at the African Oceania Olympic qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt, according to the United World Wrestling. The finalists in the weight category are expected to qualify for the Olympic Games, winning these 4 wrestlers finished among the top 2 boxers in their categories. Odunayo Adekuroye had secured qualification to Paris last year following her bronze medal win in the women's 57 kg at the World Championship in Belgrade. And talking sport more, German Football Association President Bernhard Nordorf has revealed that discussions have taken place with Julian Nagelsmann about the possibility of extending his contract. Nagelsmann's current deal is set to expire after Euro 2024, and he has been linked with clubs including Liverpool and Manchester United. However, Nordorf is eager for the 36-year-old could remain in charge of Germany. Germany won 2-0 away to France in the friendly on Saturday, with Florian Wirtz and Kai Havertz both scoring. Earlier this month, Nagelsmann revealed that he wanted his future to be resolved as soon as possible. Talking tennis, Andy Murray made an agonizing exit from the Miami Open on Sunday night, yelling in pain after rolling his left ankle at the end of an exhaustive battle, which saw the 36-year-old suffer a tie-break heartache against the Czech vanquisher Thomas Makak. Murray was left face down in distress in Bochko's court after hurting himself at the precise moment he had made it 5-5 in the final set. He looked like a broken man after picking himself up, shaking his head as he hobbled to his seat for the medical attention. And that's how we call it a wrap on the Sports News Update. I am Anthony Momodu.
Hello and welcome to all our viewers in Nigeria and around the world to AMUs on Global Television. We are live in the nation's capital, Abuja. I am Queen Agaba. The Senate President, Godswill Akpabio, has called for a humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza and the unconditional release of all hostages. He also called for access to humanitarian aid for victims of the war conflict zone. Akpabio made the call in his address at the ongoing 148th Inter-Parliamentary Union IPU General Assembly in Geneva, Switzerland. Edikan Michael has the report.
The Senate President urged members of the IPU not to conclude the General Assembly without adopting his demands as part of the resolutions that will be announced after the Assembly.
This is a lone voice from Nigeria. We tried our best in Angola, and we failed to lend a collective voice towards what is happening in Gaza. Today, the world is very expectant. We must drop ego. It has nothing to do with which country brings a proposal. The basic tenets of humanity demand that we live here with resolution for the rest of the world to show that we have humane feelings in us.
He also calls on the cessation of hostilities, which according to him must be part of the Parliament's resolutions with access to humanitarian aid.
We have to show the world that we are human beings. Cessation of hostilities must be part of our resolution. Access to humanitarian aid must be part of our resolution. At the same time, release of hostages and even those who are possibly prisoners of war. Because if both sides should take a step, releasing the hostages, releasing the prisoners of war, it means that both sides have agreed that the international community can go to the next step, which is negotiation for sustainable peace.
Akpabio also lamented on high children's death in the region.
We can no longer allow a child to die tonight without lending a voice. It doesn't matter which side. We are all parents. If we come here to look for ego and then try to, it's not affecting them. There's nothing that is affecting Denmark here. There's nothing that is affecting South Africa. The people affected are over there. And then, of course, nobody will agree to the lone resolution from Israel. It must be all-encompassing so that we stand up from here as human beings.
Mr. Akpabio's demands are not different from the position already taken by the Nigerian government and the country's National Assembly. Nigeria also joined 119 other countries at the UN General Assembly last year to vote in support of humanitarian ceasefire in Gaza, where Israeli attacks have killed over 10,000 people, including over 3,000 children. Edikan Michael, reporting for Global TV News.
The federal government has hailed foreign service officers for launching the Academy of International Affairs. Vice President Kashim Shettima stated that the Academy has the potential to make improvements in the management of Nigeria's foreign policy. Shettima, who spoke at the inauguration of the Academy in Abuja, added that he emerged at a period when it was needed most. Shettima told the foreign service officers that Nigeria needed their input in addressing some of the challenges it is facing. Moving on, the federal government has concluded plans to train some newly recruited personnel of the Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps in 36 states and the Federal Capital Territory as the School Safety Protection Squad to halt cases of abduction of school children from their schools. The commander of the National Safe Schools Response Coordination Center of the NSCDC, Ahmed Aboduri, disclosed this just as the Defense Headquarters said troops rescued 137 abducted pupils of the LEA Primary School at the government secondary school Kuriga in the Chikun local government area of Kaduna State, within Zamfara State. This came as President Bola Tinubu welcomed the news of the release of the Kuriga school children, as well as the release of pupils of Sangaya School in Sokoto State, commending all the parties involved in the feat for their valiant efforts. The federal government has said that no ransom was paid to free the pupils who were abducted from Kuriga village in Kaduna State. This was revealed by Minister of Information and National Orientation Mohammed Idris during the Federal Executive Council meeting presided by President Bola Tinubu at the Presidential Villa in Abuja. The minister applauded President Tinubu, the National Security Advisor, NSA, the service chiefs, and everyone else who made a significant contribution to the kids' release. The minister added that President Tinubu has directed security services to step up their efforts to put an end to the nationwide kidnapping crisis. Governor Babagana Zulum of Borno has approved the appointment of 168 assistants and 104 board members for the 15 agencies and commissions of the state. This is contained in a statement issued by the Secretary to the Borno State Government, SSG Alhaji Bukar Tijani, in Maiduguri. He said the appointees comprised of 9 senior technical assistants, 81 senior special assistants, and 78 special assistants. The SSG also listed 104 others as chairmen and board members of 15 agencies and commissions. The appointment, the SSG said, was done based on powers conferred on the governor by the provisions of Section 208, subsection 2D of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, 1999, as amended. The Senior Staff Association of Nigerian Universities has announced the end of its 7-day warning strike to give more room for government to do the needful. The president of the association, Mohammed Ibrahim, made the declaration at a virtual stakeholders forum organized by the Education Writers Association of Nigeria in Lagos. The forum, which also had Ibeji Nwokoma, president of the Non-Academic Staff Union of Educational and Associated Institutions, NASU, in attendance, was on withheld salaries versus labor crisis. The death toll from stampede in Bauchi at an event for the distribution of arms has risen to 7. The police in the state said the spokesperson in the state, Ahmed Wakil, said 3 more women died from the injuries they sustained in the incident. The News Agency of Nigeria reports that 4 people were trampled to death during the exercise at Shafa Holdings Company PLC on Jos Road in Bauchi. The police said the incident happened at about 10:20 a.m. when the company was holding its annual Zakat exercise, otherwise known as alms giving, to help the less privileged in the state. The Nigerian Meteorological Agency said it is partnering with an American-based weather content firm, Hella Weather, to train the agency's television weather presenters in communication skills. This development is coming barely 2 months after the agency promised to improve its service delivery. The Director General of the Chief Executive Officer of NIMET and the Permanent Representative of Nigeria with the World Meteorological Organization, Charles Anosike, disclosed this in a statement. The training program is set to last for a year. You're watching news on the AMR, coming to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. When the AM News returns, FG files tax evasion charges against Binance. This and other stories coming right after this break. Please stay with us. Many thanks for staying with us. On the foreign scene, supporters of the opposition candidate Bisoro Diomaye Faye have rallied in the streets to rejoice over the candidate's early victories in Senegal's presidential election. Faye's victory is coming just a week after his release from prison. But his main rival from the ruling coalition insisted that a second round would be necessary to ascertain the winner. The winner will have to steer Senegal, viewed as a beacon of democracy in coup-hit West Africa, out of 3 years of turbulence and a political crisis, and manage revenues from oil and gas reserves that are shortly to start production. Uncertainty many remained over the outcomes of the unprecedented vote, with officials' results not expected before the end of the week. An absolute majority is required for a first-round win. The French Interior Minister has launched multiple anti-drug crackdowns, reflecting the government's commitment to show it's serious about tackling the drug trade and crime in cities ahead of European elections. The French Interior Minister announced multiple nationwide anti-drug crackdowns, reflecting the government's commitment. Interior Minister Gerald Darmanin said that police units conducted raids and made several arrests in the northern city of Lille. He said that authorities are going to multiply operations that will have prepared for months to hit very hard. In business, the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Investment has directed applicants of the Presidential Conditional Grant Scheme to submit their national identification numbers as part of the necessary requirements to obtain a grant earmarked to cushion the effect that recent economic reforms have had on businesses in the country. The government, through the Bank of Industry, had said it would be disbursing 3 categories of funding, totaling 200 billion naira, to support manufacturers and businesses across the country. It said the new rule was based on the new regulations from the Central Bank of Nigeria directing Nigerians to link their national identification numbers with their bank accounts. It added that only verified applicants will receive these notifications, and NINs must match their applicant's name for the process to proceed. The federal government has donated truckloads of grains to the Kano state government for this bus distribution to the needy. The donation consists of 100 trucks of rice, 44 trucks sorghum, and 4 trucks of maize. The donation arrived just as the state government said it has begun an investigation into its ongoing Ramadan feeding program in the state. The State Director General of Media and Publicity, Sanusi Tofa, disclosed this to journalists in Kano. He said Dangote Foundation also supported the state with 120,000 10 kg bags of rice. In another development, Minister of Works David Umahi has mandated the redesign of the Onitsha bypass for the second Niger bridge due to flaws and overestimation in the initial design. He says the dumping of the initial design has saved the nation 300 billion naira. This is as the minister directed contractors working on federal road projects in southeast and south regions to accelerate work while ensuring compliance with contract specifications. In a statement by his media advisor, Uchenna Oji, the minister discovered the defective design of the second Niger bridge bypass in March 24th, while on an inspection visit to the rehabilitation of Enugu-Port Harcourt dual carriageway section, IV Aba Port Harcourt, undertaken by China's Civil Engineering Construction Corporation Limited. One of the 2 Binance executives detained in Nigeria for alleged tax evasion and other offenses, Nadeem Anjarwalla, has reportedly escaped from custody. In February, the government detained the 2 senior executives of Binance. The arrest came amidst efforts by the government to rein in speculation on the naira by crackdown on cryptocurrency exchanges. The charges against Binance include non-payment of value-added tax, company income tax failure to file tax returns, and complicity in aiding customers to evade taxes platform. Anjarwalla reportedly escaped from the Abuja guest house where he and his colleague were being held. He was said to have escaped after some guards on duty escorted him to a nearby mosque for prayers. The federal government has initiated proceedings against Binance, a prominent cryptocurrency exchange platform, over tax evasion. The charges were filed at the Federal High Court in Abuja by the Federal Inland Revenue Service. FIRS complicated Binance with 4 tax evasion accusations, adding that it was a decisive move aimed at upholding fiscal responsibility and safeguarding the economic integrity of the country. The charges levied against Binance include non-payment of value-added tax, company income tax failure, and failure to file tax returns, and complicity in aiding customers to evade taxes through its platform. In the suit, the federal government also accused Binance of failure to register with FIRS for tax purposes and contravening existing tax regulations within the country. Now, in sports, 4 members of the Nigerian Mixed Martial Arts Federation, NMMAF, returned home to a hero's welcome after completing in the 13th African Games held in Accra, Ghana. The NMMAF board is thrilled to congratulate Team Nigeria on the outstanding performance at the Games, where MMA was featured as a demonstration sport. Team Nigeria brought home an impressive haul of 4 medals, 1 gold, 1 silver and 2 bronze. Blessing Onyali secured the gold medal, while Martins Aziba claimed the silver. John Obeya and Freddie Destiny each contributed bronze medals to the team's success. Minister of Sports Development, Senator John Eno, has declared that the preparations for the 2027 African Games, which will be held in Egypt, will begin immediately as the contingent to the just concluded 13th edition of the Games in Ghana. Team Nigeria arrived in the country's capital, Abuja, and Lagos in batches via chartered flights provided by the Ministry of Sports Development. In Ghana, Team Nigeria had an impressive outing and finished second in the overall medals table with a total number of 121 medals comprising 47 gold, 34 silver and 40 bronze medals. Although the foreign-based athletes who were part of Nigeria's success at the Games have also returned directly to their bases. Eno believes a head start ahead of the 2027 Games will give the country an edge in their quest to claim top sport for the first time since hosting the Games in 2003. Let's now join Anthony Momodu for more updates on sports.
Hello sports fans, welcome to Sports News Update. 7-time champions Enugu Rangers have climbed to the top of the Nigerian Premier Football League table after securing a 2-1 win over struggling Heartland in Oriental Derby on March Day 27 in Aba. Defender Ifeanyi Onyebuchi scored Rangers' first goal in the first half, and Kalu Nweke doubled the advantage in the second half before the hosts halved the deficit to end the game 2-1. Led by Fidelis Ilechukwu, Rangers have been on the ascendancy in their last 10 games, losing only 1 and are unbeaten in 9 straight games. They have also won 3 of their last 4 away matches. Lobby Stars surrendered their place on top of the table, no thanks to a 1-1 draw against Bayelsa United in Lafia. Sunday Chinedu gave Lobby the lead in the 61st minute, but Kehinde Lawal restored parity for the visitors as they continue to swim out of relegation. In Jos, Plateau United title chase also suffered a setback as they were beaten 2-1 at home by relegation-threatened Akwa United at the new Jos Stadium. The shake-up in the top 4 continued with a 2-1 defeat of champions Eyimba by Kwara United in Ilorin, where the People's Elephant assistant coach Yemi Olariwaju was sent off. The 10th game ended 1-1 at halftime, with Ikenna Cooper scoring an equalizer for Eyimba after Emmanuel Ogbole opened scoring for Kwara inside the opening 10 minutes, but Ogbole got his brace and Kwara match winner just 5 minutes after the restart. Andrew Idoko and Aziz Folulo, who scored his 3rd goal of the season, were also on target for Katsina United as the Chenji boys came back from a goal down to beat Abia Warriors 2-1 at the Muhammadu Diko Stadium in Katsina. Enugu Rangers now hold 1 point lead at the top of the table with 48 points after 27 matches, and they are followed by Lobby Stars in second with 47 points, Heartland 23, Gombe United 24, Niger Tornadoes 30, and Bayelsa United 31 are in the bottom four, but Kwara United with 32 are just 1 point away from safety after their win on Sunday. Eye-catching closing ceremony brought to an end the African Games in Ghana on Saturday after an eventful 16 days in Accra, Kumasi, and Cape Coast. The event ended with a parade of all participating countries' flags, while music from Nigerian hip-hop star Tiwa Savage was played from the sound system, much to the delight of the crowd. On the final day of the competition, perennial champions Egypt claimed 2 more gold to take their gold haul to 101 to once again claim the top spot at the Continental Sports Showpiece. Egypt emerged winners of the event with 189 medals, 101 gold, 46 silver, 42 bronze, while Nigeria finished in second position with 47 gold, 33 silver, and 40 bronze to claim a total of 120 medals. South Africa occupied the third spot with 106 medals, 32 gold, 32 silver, and 42 bronze, as Nigeria ranked the fourth best country at the event in Ghana with 114 medals, 29 gold, 38 silver, and 47 bronze. 4 Nigerian wrestlers have joined Odunayo Adekuroye to qualify for the Paris Olympic Games by winning gold medals at the African Oceania Olympic qualifiers in Alexandria, Egypt, according to the United World Wrestling. The finalists in the weight category are expected to qualify for the Olympic Games, winning these 4 wrestlers finished among the top 2 boxers in their categories. Odunayo Adekuroye had secured qualification to Paris last year following her bronze medal win in the women's 57 kg at the World Championship in Belgrade. And talking sport more, German Football Association President Bernhard Nordorf has revealed that discussions have taken place with Julian Nagelsmann about the possibility of extending his contract. Nagelsmann's current deal is set to expire after Euro 2024, and he has been linked with clubs including Liverpool and Manchester United. However, Nordorf is eager for the 36-year-old could remain in charge of Germany. Germany won 2-0 away to France in the friendly on Saturday, with Florian Wirtz and Kai Havertz both scoring. Earlier this month, Nagelsmann revealed that he wanted his future to be resolved as soon as possible. Talking tennis, Andy Murray made an agonizing exit from the Miami Open on Sunday night, yelling in pain after rolling his left ankle at the end of an exhaustive battle, which saw the 36-year-old suffer a tie-break heartache against the Czech vanquisher Thomas Makak. Murray was left face down in distress in Bochco's court after hurting himself at the precise moment he had made it 5-5 in the final set. He looked like a broken man after picking himself up, shaking his head as he hobbled to his seat for the medical attention. And that's how we call it a wrap on the sports news update. I am Anthony Momodu.
And that's it on the AM News, and it came to you live from Nigeria's capital, Abuja. We're on Star Times, channel 276. Kindly follow us on all social media platforms using @Global TV NG and other handles now showing on your screen. I'm Queen Agaba. Thank you for watching. See you again.